November 29th. We're watching ISON Lee's stereo ahead CR02. Stop that. You see that flare? Follow it, guys. It's going to be the last images that we get. You see that as it passes out of the camera? But it's fanning bright and wide, and I want to show you some pictures there. Now, that's ISON's tail still showing even after it's all the way on the other side of the sun. See it drifting there in the solar wind? Check that out. Now, going to stereo behind, we're on the opposite side of the sun at a slightly backward angle. You can see the fan out motion and the brightness. Check that out. That's what we're going to be seeing. Now, I'm going to slow this down. This is Earth-facing images of LASCO C3 as it dives behind the occulta. We'll watch it in full speed. I just want to watch this pull out, and I'm going to show you some close-ups. I'm concerned that the nucleus could be highly fragmented after this temperature exposure. I've always thought it was multiple nucleus, but it looks like that it has fragmented more, and I'll show you that. Check that out. Now, this is a close-up and bringing the colors down to where we can just see the main section. But guys, it looks like a handful of gravel. It looks ragged, and there's pieces that are not part of the back star background that are starting to separate. And I'll show you, this has happened before, and Hubble has captured these images before. Again, another close-up. Check this out. That's fragments that you're looking at here from ISON, again, right behind it. And it looks like, again, a handful of gravel at this point. And when you see that, one of the things that can happen is because of all that pressure, they can start to separate. And I'll show you. Again, we'll watch it rise up. Incredible images. I wish we could have saw those live. Now, this is 73p. I'll show you that. This was Hubble. This is 7 years ago. Hubble caught it. Now, this is a different type of comet. It's called a Jupiter class, and it's classified as a near-Earth object because about every 5.5 years or so, it orbits back around. It goes from the sun, from Jupiter, and then dives through just inside Earth's orbit, and then goes back out to Jupiter. But now there are 67 separate JPL models to track each one of these fragments. And it takes almost a year for them to pass through, guys. You can go by and check each one. One will pass in January, the next one March. And they dive right just inside of Earth's orbit. And that could be a source of a lot of these big fireballs. But guys, here's Comet ISON at the time of the video. And as you zoom it up, you see that it's not right beside the sun. If you're trying to look at the sun, remember, on stereo A and B and LASCO, it's much higher than that. You see this? Now, if you're going to try to get any images of it, it's going to, each morning you're going to have a greater chance, and I'll show you why. Now, what I've done is turn the glare of the sun off and just made it a star here. You can see inky to the right, Mercury and Saturn. The moon's way over to the right. And again, the bright star is just the sun dimmed down. Now, we're looking south. Notice that. I have this set from my location in central Mississippi. Now, when you go in, you can set it for your location. It gets you a lot more accurate view. Now, that gray line that you see, I have turned off the Earth, and what that does is allow you to see below the horizon as if there was no ground. And as it's going around, you can see the sun, ISON, inky's below it, Mercury. It's just where the Earth is rotating. And I'll show you in the morning as this comes around. If you're going to use a telescope, and maybe even you, Vaughn, old Marine, I saw you got that infrared lens, but it's going to be cold when this thing comes up. But I'm going to come around and show you the time. Notice we're at 2 o'clock in the morning here. This is going to be on the 30th. As it comes up, Spica, Mars has already risen. Now the moon's up, guys. Saturn, see that coming above the gray line? Mercury. Now ISON to the left of the sun, just right there. It's still so close tomorrow morning. Again, this is not a zoomed up, so it's further away than what this image appears. But that's how close it is. Each day it's going to get a little further away than that. So each day we should get better and better images. But again, it looks ragged. Not sure it's going to hold up, but I know one thing, we're going to update it. So Be safe.